If you're feeling tired after 30 minutes of practice, you're making the same mistake that took me years to unlearn, and it's destroying your piano technique right now. You're probably moving your hands across the keyboard in the wrong way, and I want you to understand that if you're using your body in the way we're designed to move, you can avoid all this pain, fatigue, tension. So by the end of this video, you will be able to use it in your playing right now. And this is not about practicing more, it's about moving smarter. And before we dive in, I want you to understand why I'm so passionate about the correct movement and the piano technique in general. I used to work as a full-time accompanist. During the school year, I was playing 7 days a week. So I was playing for instrumental students, vocal students, I was playing in a church, I had a whole bunch of side gigs. So when you have this kind of schedule, you don't have time to practice. And very often I was relying on sight reading. And when you don't practice, you don't even notice how bad habits they creep in, and eventually I ended up in pain. So this is the reason why I'm so picky with the movement at the piano with technique, because I don't want anybody to end up in pain. So here is what many pianists do incorrectly, and honestly, some of us were taught to play this way. So when we look at the keyboard, it's a straight line, and when we move from one note to another, especially when we're playing scales or arpeggios, we are moving in a straight line like this, from right to left, like you're sliding the rail. So let's say you're playing 5-finger scale. I moved in a straight line. Looks efficient, right? Well, that's wrong. So here's the problem. When you're moving in a straight line, you're constantly using the same muscles. All these muscles, they're firing up in the same way, hundreds or even thousands of times, because think how many times, how many notes you're playing during your practice session. Thousands. And this is called repetitive stress injury, and our bodies are not designed to move in the same way all the time. And it happens not only to us pianists or any musicians, it happens to factory workers, or if you're typing a lot, you cannot do that for several hours a day without consequences. Tension builds up, you feel tired, fatigued, and eventually in pain. But it doesn't have to be this way. So instead of moving in a straight line, think about circular movements. So let me show you an example. Let's say we're playing an arpeggio C, E, G, C. If I move in a straight line, I cannot play like that for a minute or two. I will get tense. But what if I do this? Tell me if you can see the difference. There was a tiny circular movement. So when I was going towards the higher note, my hand slightly went down, and when I was coming back to my thumb, hand went up. So I was using this motion. Very often people start using the wrist movement instead, which I don't recommend because these muscles are way smaller and this is a very active movement, so you get tired and you can create even more problems. So just think, if you were carrying a 20-pound dumbbell, if you were holding your arm in the same position while you were walking, your arm would definitely get tired. But if you start moving your arm, let's say you hold it down or hold it in any other position, you're moving, so your hand is not gonna get tired as fast. This is the main reason why we're using circular motions. Here you need to be careful and not move your wrist actively. Your wrist will move passively if you're not locking it. And here's another danger. You can start moving way too much with your whole forearm. So you have to remember that all the movements at the piano have to be tiny. So my movement was tiny. That was it. It never goes down a lot. And this way you will be using different muscles when you're playing. Let me review it one more time. This is the main rule, but rules are made to be broken. But I want you to remember this one and tell me if you're going to try it. So if you're going to your pinky, doesn't matter which hand it is, right or left, the movement is going to go down, down. And if you're going towards your thumb, the movement is gonna go up. And if you try it, you will see that it will affect not only your physical playing, the way you feel, but it will also affect the sound. Sound is gonna be more fluid instead of this harsh, where you're only using your fingers, moving your arm in a straight way. Alright, now let's take a look at two examples. I'm going to show you two, one beginner piece and more intermediate one. So the first one is going to be from this book. I use it a lot for my beginner adults. So this example is going to be on page 65, Hungarian dance. So if you look at measure 2 in the left hand, you will have a movement with 3 notes, G, F, E, when they're going down and when they're going up. So watch my left hand carefully. If you play it like this in a straight line, seems efficient, but it's not. Let's use those circular movements. Let's review this again. If you're going towards your pinky, the movement is going to go down. If you're going towards your thumb, it's going to be up. So here, watch my hand. I'm slightly going down and now up. It feels like I'm tracing figure 8. See, it wasn't this or this. It's gently going down and up. Or in the same piece, measure 5, where you have 5 notes going down. Now, did you see I made this tiny little circle going under? And the second example is going to be more for intermediate pianists, where we're taking a look at Chopin's A minor waltz. Now, I want you to keep in mind that when you're playing complex music, you will not be using the same movements in both hands. And this piece is a perfect example. So from the very beginning, you will be playing in the right hand. Remember the rule. When you're playing towards your pinky, the movement is going where? Up your right. So the very first measure, did you see my hand moving down? Now, which way we're going? Over. So did you see my hand tracing the figure 8, going down and going slightly up? Now let's take a look at the left hand. Left hand, the rule is we're going towards the thumb, which means the movement is gonna be over. Over. Now, if you put both hands together, right hand is going under, left hand is going over. See what's happening? I played the wrong note, but you see right hand is going under, left hand is going over. So we always have this movement. Isn't it beautiful? Now I want you to remember that you cannot put all the movements together at the same time. You have to perfect right hand, left hand, and start putting them together little by little. Not huge chunks, tiny chunks. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments if you ever experienced fatigue, tension, pain, and if you're going to try this movement. Also, if you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe.